July 22nd was the day that the Sonic 25th anniversary party in San Diego was hosted, and I was one of the many people that got to go, and it was a blast, easily the most fun I've had in years. And I'm glad I got to go, seeing as how the live stream was complete and utter dog shit. I would briefly talk about how great the party was, if I had finished this video in time, but nope, I had to delay this video because of audio issues. Instead, I'll just solely focus on a particular part of this event that got everyone talking, that being the announcements of Sonic Mania and Project Sonic 2017. To begin with, I'm hyped as hell for Sonic Mania. For one thing, I'm really digging the graphical style they're going with. When I first heard that this was going to be a 2D classic-styled Sonic game, I was expecting graphics on the same level as Sonic Generations, but no, instead we're getting something reminiscent of the Sega Saturn era. And this is an approach I easily prefer. Don't get me wrong, it's possible to create some really beautiful graphics in 3D, but there's just this certain polished pixel art and hand-drawn graphics that make the graphical styles of games like Freedom Planet and, well, Sonic Mania very timeless. Also, that title screen animation looks smooth as fuck. Same goes for the rest of the game's animation. One thing that does have me worried about are the remix stages. Not that they are bad or anything, but I'm worried that there will be too much of them. At the very least, let there be 2 or 3. I want original zones, not rehashed zones. But I have heard that this game is going to be longer than Generations, so I wouldn't be too worried. I must say that I really like the new zone they showed off, that being Studiopolis Zone. It looks really colorful and fun to look at, and the level design overall looks really neat. And it's full of some really neat and obscure Sega references. I should also mention that Sonic gets a new move in this game, that being the Drop Dash, which looks like a move that will keep up the pace. Of course this means that they're getting with the Insta-Shield, but hey, at least all 3 of the elemental shields are making a return. Maybe they can even introduce new elemental shields, like the Wind Shield that can allow you to hover, or an Ice Shield that can allow you to skate on ice, or maybe even a Gravity Shield. I don't know what you could do with a Gravity Shield, but hey, the possibilities are endless. Also, 3 playable characters. Yes, about time they brought this feature back. I finally get to play as Tails and Knuckles in their full glory again, which is awesome. Also, I can't go without mentioning the soundtrack. The soundtrack is being composed by T. Lopes, who I'm not too familiar with, but from what I've heard of Sonic Mania's soundtrack, I'm really digging it, and I can't wait to hear more of it. Overall, I'm just so excited for Sonic Mania, and I can't wait to play it. Too bad I didn't know it was playable at the party, because if I had known, I would have definitely tried it out. One last thing I want to briefly mention about Mania before I go on to the next game is that it's being developed by Christian Whitehead, aka the Taxman, who's well known for his fantastic ports of Sonic 1, 2, and CD. I guess this goes to show how talented some of the people in the Sonic fanbase are, even though the fanbase is well known online for being, well, a mess. I do kind of find it interesting though that Taxman and another person were at one point working on a fan game called Sonic Retro Nexus, which Taxman had to eventually pull the plug on because he was hired by Sega to do the ports for Sonic CD. And now he's making an official Sonic game, which is really nice and probably really exciting. I guess you can say they gave him a promotion, But hey, who knows, maybe after Taxman finishes Mania, he'll return to Retro Nexus and rework it into an official title. Hey, it's a possibility. And then there's Project Sonic 2017, which I will be referring to as Sonic 17 for short. Needless to say, I am very intrigued by Sonic 17. In fact, out of the 2 games, Sonic 17 interests me the most, mainly because of what they had shown, and what little they had shown. That's what makes this trailer work very well in my opinion, as opposed to just getting straight to the point and just give us gameplay without no build-up. Instead, they give us a sweet little teaser that opens itself up for speculation. One thing that I really like about the trailer is the overall dark and dreadful feeling it provided, which we haven't seen since Unleashed, although I do hope they don't go too far in one direction like 06 and Shadow did. and that they balance out the dark and serious tone with some more happy and cheerful moments. One thing that has had Sonic fans mixed about Sonic 17 is the inclusion of classic Sonic. At first I was concerned. Me and a lot of people were convinced that this game was going to be Generations 2. And that was exactly what I didn't want. But then Iizuka came out and said that this wasn't even a sequel, and that this was an entirely new experience altogether. So, my best guess is that we're getting a Sonic Generation style game, but with entirely new stages. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good idea. Although I do hope it's more than just Generations with original levels, that they actually add more stuff to the table, like new abilities for modern and classic Sonic, a hub world that actually has substance, maybe even multiple playable characters. Also, I really do hope that the level design follows that of the modern Seaside Hill from Generations. That was seriously the best level in Generations, just because of how big and expansive it is. That's really all I have to say about Sonic 17, since there really isn't much to talk about. But the best part about these two new games is the very fact that both games are coming out next year instead of this year. They are legitimately letting their developers take as much time as needed. In the past, they would usually rush their developers to finish for an unreasonable deadline. In fact, they've been doing this since Sonic 2. And it's not like most of these games were bad. In fact, most of them were still really good. But sometimes this led to disastrous mistakes, like 06 and Boom. Now that they are really taking quality and time into consideration, which are signs of hope, but not only are they taking the quality of their product seriously, but it seems as if they are really proud of their work as well. In the trailer for Sonic Mania, there was a part that said, Sega proudly presents. It didn't just say Sega presents, it said proudly presents. And when they were about to announce Project 17, Iizuka had the biggest fucking smile on his face. Point being, they really are starting to care about their projects more, so I can definitely see the future of Sonic being positive. Or at least, I hope. Yeah, the series has had it rough through the years, but it's all in the past, and we're entering into a new age of Sonic, the start of a new renaissance, the beginning of a second Sonic uprising. So, I guess it's safe to say that Sonic is finally back, and he's coming back stronger than ever. Stay strong, Blue Buddy. The future awaits. Oh, and one last thing. To all the morons that say Sonic is dead and that Sonic was never good, or that the series should die, would you kindly fuck off? See all you viewers next time, and take care.